President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi of Egypt will officially hand over the chairpersonship of the continental body to President Cyril Ramaphosa during the open session of the AU Assembly. Now, this year's AU summit is being held under the theme Silencing the Guns, creating a conducive conditions for Africa's development. And the summit will take stock of the progress made and the challenges to peace, stability and sustainable development in Africa. And for more on this story, we cross live to Africa editor Sophie Mokoena, who is in Addis Ababa. Very good morning to you, Sophie. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, silencing the guns it really is the theme for this year's summit, and essentially reviving an aspiration set out by African leaders in 2013 to end the war and prevent genocide on the continent. So, Sophie, from your reflections, do you think that African leaders have taken stock, or just how far have they gone in realizing this goal?
Well, indeed, Simpiwe, we are coming live here at the AU headquarters in Addis Ababa. The ordinary session of heads of state and government will soon get underway. They will start with a closed meeting where they are going to agree on the agenda of the day. And then, of course, it will be an open session where we will be able to follow the deliberations. We know that high on the agenda is the theme Silencing the Guns. You know that the AU had target of silencing the guns in 2020. But unfortunately, you have countries that are still experiencing instability. Among those countries, we can talk about Libya, we can talk about South Sudan, and of course the Sahel region, which is quite a headache, not only for the AU, but for the United Nations as well. Yesterday, we had the Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, issuing very strong warning to South Sudan parties that they must agree on the government of national unity or the interim government. They had requested that they would want this matter to be postponed. They can only do that in 4 months, but Antonio Guterres is having none of that. And also heads of state here are saying the time has arrived for parties in South Sudan to agree, and there is not going to be any extension. On the other hand, we have a situation where Libya is still experiencing internal conflict. You have the General Haftar advancing towards Tripoli. You have the government saying the international forces are responsible for the current instability in that country. And we know that the battle there, it's all about oil, as it has happened earlier on with Muammar Gaddafi. And therefore, the main issue here is bringing stability and peace on the continent. The other issue yesterday, the President of the Republic of South Africa taking over as the APRM chair. Yesterday we saw Seychelles and Zimbabwe agreeing to be part of the APRM. Therefore, we expect those countries to be assessed. We know that South Africa will be going for a second assessment, and President Ramaphosa, very tough, saying that leaders of the continent must be willing to be assessed and also to be accountable to the citizens of this continent, and therefore APRM is a mechanism to ensure that there's that accountability. On the other hand, we saw President Paul Kagame making a comeback, the chair of NEPAD. We know that he's the man who likes development, and this agency will have a person who's going to be working very hard. He made a commitment yesterday that he's going to work hard, that NEPAD does work. We know that it's all about development, and yesterday the CEO of NEPAD saying that they are quite happy in terms of the infrastructure. We saw that the President of the Republic also gave a feedback in terms of what South Africa has done previously as the chair of the Infrastructure Committee with all different projects on the continent. And therefore, we'll bring you update at 9 o'clock on Media Monitor, but also we'll be speaking to the Secretary General of the United Nations at 10 o'clock South African time. Over to you in studio, Simpiwe.